welcome to Broken Entertainment. So today we're going to dive into the fun, exciting world of AI. And everybody's super thrilled with AI, and yeah. So before I get into that, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and if you do, hit the bell for notifications so you get all the latest on new videos. So here we have an article in Newsweek that this author, in giant air quotes, has made thousands of dollars and published 97 books because he's just using AI. Right? He's not actually writing any of it. This guy says, my journey into a new realm of high-tech creativity and storytelling began in August 2022. Armed only with my imagination and a handful of artificial intelligence tools, I ventured into the world of AI-assisted publishing without any map or guide. Well, first of all, you're not armed with your imagination because, as you'll see as we go through this article, he doesn't do a damn thing. Okay, he just enters prompts and generates a story and art, because he also uses AI art, and just poops it out and charges, like $2, which he acts like is really cheap, but it's for a 5,000 word story. $2 for a 5,000 word story that he didn't spend any time on. It took him 6 hours. That's dramatically overcharged. So my goal is straightforward: to craft a series of unique, captivating ebooks merging dystopian pulp, sci-fi, and compelling AI world building. Well, AI world building is not compelling, because AI world building is just taking a coalition of other ideas from other places and sort of pasting them together and throwing them at the wall and seeing if they stick. Compelling world building is world building done by people, done by authors. This guy's not doing the world building. He's literally having an AI program world build. And it's not compelling just because AI does something. It's not. Now, I have made use of AI art programs for my own purposes. I will never publish them. I use them to work on a character and say, okay, it kind of gives me a guideline to go by when I'm writing, and to come up with basic concept images, but they're not art. They're not going to be published. When I do publish, if there's images involved, they're going to be done by people because those are much more interesting. So he says, today I'm on the cusp of releasing my 97th book and was recently featured on CNN. Well, that's gee. The AI lore books, as I've come to call them. So you don't even call them books in the sense of, like, fiction. They're lore books. So what are these, the Silmarillion, but spit out by AI? Are testament to the potential of AI in augmenting human creativity. No, because it's not augmenting your creativity. You're putting these AI programs to work to do everything for you. That's not creativity. Each book features between 2,000 to 5,000 words and 40 to 140 AI-generated images. Generally, each one takes me 6 to 8 hours to create and publish, and in some instances, I've been able to produce a volume as little as 3 hours, everything included. I mean, he's just crapping them out. There's no quality control. There's no editing. I want you to think about that. How little editing is involved if you're doing these in 6 to 8 hours. Forget the AI for a minute. These are totally unedited. They're done one draft, and they're pasted up on the internet. There's no beta readers. There's no line editing. There's no developmental editing. It's just buy my shit. This unprecedented rate of production is possible due to AI tools like Midjourney for image generation and ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude for brainstorming and text generation. So he's not writing, and he's not coming up with the ideas. He's having an AI program come up with his ideas, and then he's calling himself creative. I sold 574 books for a total of nearly $2,000 between August and May. The books all cross-reference each other, creating a web of interconnected narratives that constantly draw readers in and encourage them to explore further. You mean like anything written by a good author who combines their work? It's not that revolutionary, dude. This approach has been successful with the majority of my readers being repeat buyers, many having bought more than a dozen titles. In one case, a reader has bought more than 30 titles. This is really exciting and gratifying as a writer. You're not a writer. And I don't typically jump on people for this stuff, but this guy's calling himself things that he is not. He is not a writer. He did not write one word. All of this was generated by a program, by 3 programs. You did not write one word, you did not edit one word, you did not have beta read a single word. You're not a writer, you're a programmer, at best. Each book is priced between $1.99 and $3.99. Can you imagine paying $4 for a 5,000 word quote-unquote book? There are people that sell novels for that. Like full 400-page novels for $4. That's not even that uncommon. I decided to sell my books directly to readers using Gumroad because it gives me greater control. Sure, fine. I can see more information about who is actually buying my books and have a better picture of what they are after as readers. You know, here's why this doesn't worry me. So it gives you some insight, right? But he's acting like he's a huge success. I have sold 574 books for $2,000 over 9 months. Okay, that's not much. Like, that's a lot more than a lot of people, sure. But that's not a career. Like, this guy's acting like he's some sort of hyper creative genius who's making money hand over fist. I'm sorry, but you didn't even break $2,000 for 574 books that you didn't write. That's better, like I said, that's better than a lot of people. It's not revolutionary. None of this is revolutionary. I'm not worried about AI taking over because AI can't replicate human creativity. In part because AI is not actually artificial intelligence. That's a misnomer. That's a lie. AI is a machine learning program that uses databases and input from an outside source to sort of cobble things together and put it out there. It's not thinking. It's not creating. So what you have really is 97 soulless books put together by questionable material using 3 programs. Now, without getting into the is it theft argument too far, because a lot of people argue that AI art is theft, these books are pulling from databases composed of stuff written by people. And that's where they're coming up with it. And they're rearranging it, and they're resorting it, and they're kind of spitting it out there, and then he looks over it, makes sure it's vaguely coherent, and then puts it up on the internet. And you'll see that he admits to that later on. To those who think 2,000 to 5,000 word written work is just a short story and not a real book, that's because it is a short story and not a real book. Success is due to the interconnected narratives across the books, which spark curiosity and keep readers engaged. But see, anybody can do that. And people will do it more interestingly than a machine learning program. And your readers often come back to purchase 6 or 8 or even 10 more volumes in a single session, which suggests that length does not limit engagement or sales. Well, no, of course not. Like, people buy short stories all the time. That's not new. This guy thinks all of this is new, but none of it is new. We already know all of this. Interconnected stories draw people's interest. Duh. Look at Marvel. Look at Brandon Sanderson. Look at Battletech. These are all examples of interconnected stories that draw people's interest. Length does not limit engagement or sales. No, of course it doesn't, because people buy short stories all the time. There are a ton of people there are entire platforms dedicated to short stories and selling them. People buy that all the time. Now, I wouldn't buy one for $3. Out of your freaking mind. The stories contained are not sequential narratives, so they're just there. They interconnect, but they don't line up. I think the serial fiction market of the late 1800s and early 1900s is the best historical analog here. People enjoy coming back to the same story worlds again and again, and AI lets me produce. Have you ever heard of a writer call it production? No. Because art, creativity is not a product. I mean, it is in the sense that you're selling it, but it's not an assembly line product like this guy is creating. So you don't call it, oh, it allows me to efficiently produce books. You can tell how passionate he is about this, right? Well, I can efficiently produce books, you see. It has proven to be a remarkable catalyst for my creative work. It has not. You are not doing anything creative. Is it enabled, and here we see it again, increase my output while maintaining consistent quality. You're not maintaining quality. Quality would require multiple drafts, would require editing, would require developmental editing, would require people reading it other than you before you publish it. But you're not doing any of that. I've been able to breathe life into stories and narrative universes that have been brewing in my mind for years. I'll call your bluff on that. I've even used AI to help me code many applications that will further streamline and speed up the creative process in the future. Creative processes do not speed up and streamline. That's an assembly line, which is what you are. And here we get to the part where he admits that he's not fixing any of the stuff that is being put out there. He's not editing at all. I'll admit that using AI tools, you have to learn to adapt with the limits of technologies as they exist presently. I've learned to embrace this, though, and see them as features and not bugs. Dude, you're putting out trash because you're not editing. And I thought about reviewing one of these, but I don't want to give this guy money. So we're going to leave that off the table. But he's not editing. 6 to 8 hours, he is not editing. And then anything it does that's weird or that doesn't make coherent sense, he's just like, that's a feature. It's very difficult, for example, to have longer written pieces that maintain a coherent single storyline or character arc. Yeah, because it's not capable of doing it. So instead, I've tended to lean into short flash fiction slice-of-life collections, interspersed with fictional encyclopedia entries. So it's a bunch of slice-of-life crap with, like, an encyclopedia. Who's reading this? Who are the 500? Who bought this? And why? Are you kidding? A slice of life collection interspersed with a fictional encyclopedia, so he's basically an exposition machine? That sounds awful. I'm pointing through towards other volumes where they can continue down, blah, blah, blah. Contrary to the popular belief that AI will replace creative jobs, it won't. I see AI as a powerful tool to enhance and accelerate our capabilities and capacities. I think it can be useful, okay? Not in the way he is using it, but for editing purposes, it can be very helpful. You know, you look at like Pro Writing Aid, for example. Very helpful program. And it's not doing the work for you. It's saying, hey, you know, look at this stuff here. Here's why. Here's some ideas for what you could do, blah, 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 blah. It's not the end-all be-all of editing, but it sure is helpful. I envision a future where AI-assisted storytelling becomes the norm and readers transform into co-creators. No. No thank you. You're not, first of all, you're not a co-creator. The machine is not creating. It's gluing together and spitting out. My books represent an example of network narrative and transmedia storytelling powered by AI. There are plenty of authors that write that way, and they're actually writing. You're not revolutionary. You're not even interesting. This is somebody that's put very little work into this, and he's like, I'm a revolutionary. No, you're barely, you're not even an author. This venture into AI-assisted publishing has been transformative and rewarding experience. Appreciate my approach to creativity by removing it. Improve your productivity by making you the assembly line. Allow me to connect with readers in ways I could not have imagined. I don't know how. Discord would allow you to connect with readers. Comment sections would allow you to connect with readers. So then we go, this guy isn't, I'm not going to say his name. This guy, mostly because I think I'll just mutilate it, and I don't want to do that, is an AI artist, author, and product manager for online trust and safety systems. There you have it. Because he's acting like he's this creative super genius, and he's just spitting out unedited crap. That's half exposition. And he's made $2,000 in 9 months, and he's like, I'm making thousands and thousands of dollars. No, dude, you made $2,000 in 9 months. Write a book. Get rid of this AI nonsense. And go write a book if you have such interesting ideas. But I don't think you do, because I think this guy, if you look at this, basically started doing this when he could just shit stuff out. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be interested to hear from you. Until then, I will see you next time.